So Doug, tell us, how did you find out that you had cancer?
Oh man, let's see. September of 2013, my voice went. I was a bartender here at the Shore, and I just thought it was a busy weekend, and I lost my voice. Turns out, months down the road, it turned out to be a tumor, a cancerous tumor on my esophagus that was resting on the vocal cord, the nerve of the vocal cord. So that's what was causing my my voice paralysis.
Okay, so you went from that. Were you actively involved in triathlon at that time?
I was. I kind of always been, maybe for the past decade or so. I mean, I never considered myself a competitor. I always considered myself a participant. A lot of times I would bartend, work till 3:30 in the morning, go sleep in the car for 45 minutes, go run a race, come home, eat some, go to sleep, and go back to work. So, I always looked at it as I'd rather be in the ocean or in the water or one of these events with all these people rather than laying home in bed. So that's why I did it. Sometimes I would train for them, sometimes I wouldn't. Sometimes the race was my training, So, I've been doing it, for quite a while, mostly the sprint distances during the summer months.
Now, did you do any races after your vocal cord froze and before you got your actual diagnosis?
No, because that would have happened, the cord would have frozen in September, my diagnosis would have came in January, so the season was over.
Okay. Now, did you ever have any second in this whole process that said, oh man, I'm not going to be able to race anymore?
I'll tell you what, Rob, to be honest with you, when they tell you in January that they think you're going to die in June, there's a lot of things that you think you're not going to do anymore. Obviously it was a traumatic time in my life, as I documented on my blog, Cancer Cures Life, but racing was one of them, along with playing with your kids and seeing them graduate, and I was writing out like Sweet 16 cards for my kids when they turned 16. I was talking to my sister about money that I had saved so my kids could buy a car when they're 17. It's almost like before I could focus on living, I had to prepare to die. And once I was able to get that negative part out of it, then I was able to focus on moving forward and getting ahead on this thing. So it was, so there was a lot of things that I was worried about missing, other than the races. But most recently, when cancer came back, and that's the point of where I got hooked up with Steve Del Monte, is I wrote him a letter. When cancer came back, I thought, there goes the race season. And the letter just said, by the time I decided, I'm not going to let cancer dictate when my summer's going to be, instead of saying, I can't race this summer, I want to race this summer, but I can't because I have cancer. It was like, I want to race this summer, how can I do it? I just wrote Steve a letter playing the cancer cards, and Steve, I know you're sold out for Escape the Cape, but can you sneak me on the boat? And that's all. I had no idea I was going to post it. I had no idea that we was going to turn into such a storm of support that it has. I just wanted to quietly sneak on the back of the boat, run this race, and go home as usual. And and now I'm here talking to you, Rob.
And it caused such a huge emotional thing on Facebook. That's how I met you. Okay. Was that when I read your story and I looked at your blog and Steve put that out, should we let Doug on the boat? And it was like literally 100,000 to zero in favor of you getting on that boat. You've definitely captured the spirit and imagination of triathletes all through the area who are coming to do the Delmo events, and you're definitely an inspiring dude.
It blows me away because I just never really thought of myself as an inspiring guy at all. I mean, it just, I think I'm relatively humble, and as I said, I just wanted to kind of, be the last guy off the boat. Just let me sneak on the back, and here, I'm going to be the first guy. So it's still a little surreal to me. I'm still trying to take this all in because things are just going at such a fast pace right now.
Well, we're looking forward to you leading the way off the boat. Are you excited?
I am excited because at first I had told Steve that there's no way that I'm first off the boat because I have cancer. Like, I'm not backing into this. I said there's elite guys that train much harder than me, dedicate so much of their life and sacrifice. They should be the first guys off the boat, not me. And Steve said, you know what? Then you got to come down and tell the people, because if I say you're not going to do it, they're going to think that I said no. And then I thought about it and I said, you know what? In the past 10 years, this might be the first time that I don't get my goggles kicked off in the swim if I'm the first guy in the water. So I humbly accepted. I said, I want, for that reason alone, I want to take it so maybe my goggles don't get kicked off my face this time. So that's kind of was my motivation to say yes.
That's awesome. So you're going through chemo now.
But I've never been off chemo in the past 15 months. It was 8 rounds of the heavy stuff, followed by 9 or 10 months of maintenance chemo, and then when the cancer came back about 6 or 7 weeks ago, they upped the toxicity level and the amount of chemo I'm getting now. So I'm back into the for lack of a better term, the heavier chemo.
Now, before we started shooting, you were explaining how you'd have your chemo drip bag on you and you'd be actively training. And so I want you to explain that again so that everyone out there watching this video will be forced to confront, so what's your excuse to not train today?
Well, you know what? Like I do every other Thursday, I do about 5 or 6 hours of infusions at Jefferson Hospital in Philadelphia, and then they send me home with a 5FU, which is the kind of chemo in the drip form that drips into my heart about every maybe 11 or 12 seconds, and I'm on that for 48 hours continuously. But I know realistically there's going to be times that I can't train, that I can't work out, and I never know when those times come. So if I have that bag on and I'm feeling kind of good, that bag's not an excuse to take the day off, because a day like today, which I don't have the bag on and I plan to train later today, might turn into an off day because in 2 hours I might be on the floor. I don't know, because the fatigue just comes that quick, it comes that hard, it comes out of nowhere. So, I have, on my Facebook page, video of Thursday night's workout with the trainer, with, wherever I'm trying to keep the bag still from bouncing around, because, to be honest with you, I felt good then. So I felt good, I had to do it while I was feeling good.
So for Escape the Cape, is there any special arrangement for your chemo treatments or anything like that? Explain to the people what happens when you're going through chemo. You were saying food tastes like perfume and things like that. So can you arrange your chemo to try to, for lack of a better term, arrange you feeling your best possible?
Well, I don't know, because chemo is so unpredictable. That's one thing I can say about it. There's nothing constant about it. They say you're going to get diarrhea, you get constipated. They say hair's going to fall out, and I think I got more. There's nothing consistent about it. So to answer that question, no. Other than to constantly support the regeneration of good and healthy cells, because right now I'm not fighting cancer. The chemo's fighting cancer. What I'm fighting is the chemo. And what I got to do is boost my immune system. I got to boost the energy production, which is the ATP, which is the energy molecule in each cell, which each reproduction each day, and just try to keep my energy up, my immune system up, so that I can do this. So that's really the goal. Is not really kind of doctor the chemo program, but just kind of work with what I have. See, I have cancer. Cancer doesn't have me, so I'm not letting this really, stop too many things that I want to do. I just refuse to let that happen.
With that in mind, after Escape the Cape, will we see you at any other races this summer?
Well, now that I have a new brother in Steve Del Monte, who's just been, I can't tell you how he's been, in the past couple of weeks. We are pushing for 100 people to sign up under the CancerCuresLife.com team for the North Wildwood Triathlon, which most of these people have never done one before. So what's great about that is, let's face it, the sports, the cancer in this sport is very similar, because you're both alone. Like when it comes down to it, I can only take the chemo. I can only deal with the side effects. And when it comes to training, only I can get up at 6 in the morning and lace up the sneaks and go. I'm the only one that can get on the bike. Like, yeah, do you have support with some other things? Maybe an occasional, group training session? Yeah, but for the most part, I'm alone in cancer and I'm alone in training. So this is an opportunity for people to sign up for a team that don't have a support or don't have somebody else who wants to do this. And you can have a group of 100 peers, equal peers, because they're all basically newcomers to the sport, together to support each other during training, during race day, during the race, after the race. There's not really an excuse right now. If you ever wanted to jump outside your comfort zone and try the sport, now's the time. And Steve's Try the Wildwoods on August 16th is the time to do it. So, yeah, I mean, I'm going to, unfortunately, it looks like Sea Isle's race got canceled this year. Avalon's already sold out. Stone Harbor doesn't open up till Memorial Day Friday for that registration. And what I hope to do is I hope to jump back up into a sprint distance, an Olympic distance triathlon in AC in September. So that's what I'm shooting for.
My friend, I'll see you in September.
Yeah, cool.
Are you going to hang out with us for challenge?
I'm absolutely blown away that our area, that 45 minutes from my house, I can go watch 1,200 elite athletes participate in a full-length Ironman. I know Ironman is a brand name, but in that length of a triathlon, I'm 45. So not only am I going to come hang out, I'm volunteering. I'm getting volunteers together to come down, because let me tell you, if you never volunteer at one of these events, let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to volunteer at one of these events, and you're going to come down. And you're going to be so caught up in the energy and excitement that permeates the air, you're going to say to yourself, at least for a second, man, I wish I could do this. And guess what? You can do it. Well, the problem is a lot of times we say, I wish we can do this, and we follow it up, but I can't. I'm too overweight. I'm too slow. I can't swim. Stop that but. Stop right there when you think, I wish I could do this, and try it. Because I guarantee once you do it, you will be hooked. Because there's no, the more nervous you are, the more anxiety you feel at the start of that race is directly related to the high, to the rush that you're going to get when you finish it. Because if you're doing these races and you don't feel nervous, and you don't have butterflies, and guess what? You're in your comfort zone, and you should find something else to do. Because the people I'm jealous of, but I'm going to be nervous too, don't get me wrong, are the people that are really nervous at the start of the race, because I know when they cross that finish line, they are going to be on a high higher than I'm going to experience. And it's something that can absolutely positively impact the rest of your life.
So Doug, where can we find you, man?
Well, you can find me on Facebook at cancercureslife.com. You can also find me on the website at the same name, cancercureslife.com. Facebook has a lot of inspirational stories and a lot of videos that I uploaded. The blog is located at cancercureslife.com on the website. It's going to tell my story, how I got to this point, and it's also going to provide information. I put on there my mailing address, my email address, and my phone number. So you can email me, call me, text me, whatever you want. I'm here for anybody with any questions. So feel free to hit me up at any time.
Thanks, Doug. We'll see you at the races.
Thanks, Rob. Thank you.